everybody. Welcome back to Connect. I am your host, Andy Hale. I've got a really special, powerful, heartfelt episode today. I want to continue to talk about spirit guides, in particular, Jessica Rachel, who I've had on this podcast several times. I just had a session with her that really was just absolutely amazing. And I want to tell you part of it. So as a little backstory, if you haven't listened to some of the episodes with her already, I met Jessica through some mutual friends, and I'd never heard of a spiritual medium. I didn't know what it was. I was a little at first, skeptical, but I'm always interested in learning more. And I met Jessica, and what she does is she says, everybody's assigned a spirit guide. And I'm giving you the short version. Everybody's assigned a spirit guide who is there basically to help you live your most purposeful and aligned life, almost like a spiritual life coach. And what she can do is channel your spirit guide and help you communicate with your spirit guide. And what she'll tell you is everybody can do this. Everybody has this intuition. You just have to get better at it and practice it and open up to it and be receptive to it and tune into it. And I want to talk a little bit more about this, and I want to put it in context. And I think here's a good way to do it. There's an amazing book by Rick Rubin, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And for those of you who may or may not know, Rick Rubin was a famous music producer, unbelievable. He's now become this incredible kind of Zen master with all kinds of ideas and thoughts on how to live your best life. I think a lot of what he says is just really beautiful and thoughtful and powerful. And this is what he says to the intro of the book. I'm going to read this part here. And this kind of applies to the discussion I'm going to have now. He says, nothing in this book is known to be true. It's a reflection on what I've noticed. No facts, so much as thoughts. Some ideas may resonate, others may not. A few may awaken an inner knowing you forgot you had. Use what's helpful, let go of the rest. Each of these moments is an invitation to further inquiry, looking deeper, zooming out or in, opening possibilities for a new way of being. I think that's wonderful. And that's how I'm going to put this whole discussion in context about Jessica and the spiritual medium. All I can tell you is it resonates with me. All I can tell you is my experience. All I can do is share with you my experience. So here's where we'll start. As a little bit of backstory, I'm going to share with you part of my recent session that I had with Jessica. But here's the backstory to that session. I have a group of female lawyers, really talented, amazing lawyers at my law firm, Hale and Monaco. And Allison and Kelly are the two that started a group called Themis. And Themis is named for the female goddess of justice. They came to me and they said, Andy, it's such a male-dominated profession. We're tired of kind of walking into court, being asked for the court reporter. We want to have, women should have a little more seat at the table. We're trying to think of a way we can, kind of empower women. And what they were pitching to me was setting up a subgroup within our law firm that markets itself specifically to female clients, women that are looking to hire women lawyers. And so that's what we've done. We just started. We're pretty brand new. And I had mentioned this idea to a friend of mine, Carly Rowland, who is this actress, podcaster, producer, talented, amazing woman that lives in Los Angeles. She had heard about it through me. And she had pitched it to her agent. And we pitched the idea of doing a podcast with these Themis attorneys, telling powerful stories in law, them commenting about various legal cases and their journey as female lawyers. And so that's in the works. We're trying to develop that podcast. Okay, I never talked about this with Jessica. I never discussed it with her. We're still working on it. But in my session with her, it came up. It came up just out of the blue. It's amazing how this played out. So I want to share with you now, maybe about 10 minutes of my recent session with Jessica. The part I'm talking about doesn't come in probably till at least halfway through, but I wanted to just show you continually, give you some context just to see how the conversation played out. And basically she was she was channeling my spirit guide, telling me, here's some of the things that I see you doing and that you're going to be working on. So let's all take a watch and take a listen and check it out. Here we go.
Andy shifted, and that's he keeps saying it over.
I feel like I have shifted.
You have, and so he's
Yeah.
reaffirming that for you. And he says that there's really sort of you. In his words, he says, Andy, you're stepping into your power, you're stepping into your purpose, you're stepping into your mission. He says it's not a coincidence that he's glowing your favorite color. He was like, you are being your most authentic self, and he's just so here for it. He's so excited.
Wow. I feel it. I feel it. And
Yeah.
I felt that way. I felt that way recently. I just feel vibrant.
It was just like suddenly you like stepped over the threshold, and it's like
it's kind of like I feel like, and we'll see if he agrees with this, but I feel like maybe just like with January, like I now kind of get it. I
yeah.
feel like I kind of now get it, and I've elevated my vibration and my energy, and I feel like the way I feel has changed.
Yeah. In his words, he actually says, you've released a lot of energetic weight, is kind of what he says. You were sort of living and allowing yourself to be weighed down by certain things. And he's like, it no longer, and he says, and it manifested in your physical body even. And he was like, when you drop the physical weight, you also drop the energetic weight, right? Like it was actually the other way around. When you drop the energetic weight, the physical weight came off really quickly, right? And he was like, you were just really holding on to a lot of old programming. And he kind of goes, and you released it, you stepped over the threshold, you're here. And so now he wants to give you some next steps.
Okay, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But I really like the phrase, I wrote it down, stepped over the threshold. That resonates with me.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is like, first of all, I have to say, Andy, just this coming from me, Jessica, this is like getting an A+ report card from a spirit guide. Like when they're coming in, like jumping up and down, so thrilled and excited. Like I don't get that often for clients. Usually they're annoyed with their people, right? Like you just got like an A+.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, you're really, really into it. So he's like, you just have to keep radiating your most authentic self. And that's what you've been
And I
doing.
will say this. I mean, people have said this to me the last few weeks, like they can just feel my energy. Like it's so contagious. They're like,
Yeah.
man, you are so radiant and vibrant, and I feel it, and that's the way I felt. I've
Yeah.
just felt that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're the like perfect example of that book, eh? It's the best thing. I love it. Okay, so here's what your guide wants to share with you of like just some next steps for the way to move forward. So I'm just gonna let him speak to you. I'm gonna let him kind of just speak through me because he's got a lot of instructions. Okay. So he says, right now, he says, you're in the moment of planting seeds, he says. He says a lot of those seeds have already been planted, but there's just a few more that are kind of being put into place, sort of things that are being set into motion. He says the synchronicities are all being set on the track, as he wills. Almost as if you're like setting trains on a bunch of different tracks. And he's like, and all you're doing is like giving them a little touch, a little nudge. And suddenly it's like the train is barreling down the tracks and the synchronicities all start kind of coming to fruition later in the year. He says kind of around spring is when you're probably going to expect a lot of that to kind of come through. So he says what he really wants you to focus on for the winter season for the rest of the next couple of months is, and he says this is sort of what you kind of advocate for so strongly, but he says is to really lean into making those connections with individuals. It's all about when you're going on those walks, or you have the intuitive download or the thought to call somebody up, have a conversation with someone, even if it feels really random or out of the blue or not connected to anything at all. He says it's your energy that's radiating, and it's that, like, he's like, you don't even have to know why, it's just you have to know to connect to them, right? Just to make the connection. And so when you feel compelled to have a conversation, call somebody up, go for lunch with anybody, just do it and let the conversation flow, whatever sort of comes through without any agenda. Know that whatever needs to sort of be set into place or set into motion will happen in those sort of spontaneous conversations. So he wants you to sort of be aware of that, be aware of those nudges as they come through over the next couple of months. That's number one. Number two, he says, is that he he says also this is sort of the time where the creative energy for you is flowing really, really strongly. Like it's like all of the ideas are coming in at like the most fast and furious, rapid pace.
Feel that. I feel it. I
Yeah.
feel it.
And he says that what you're needing to do over the next couple of months, like kind of January, February, maybe early March, is he's saying that there's not so much pressure to put those ideas into action so much. Like yet, it's a little bit more about actually letting them all come through because he's like they're all coming right now.
Like
And
kind of
so
collect the ideas first. Like,
exactly, exactly. So he's sort of like keep a notepad on you or some voice notes or something, like because they're just gonna come on. So he's like, you may get all of the episodes for your podcast or like all of the he keeps talking about your I love your Hungry for Justice idea. I think that's so brilliant.
yeah, yeah.
And he's showing me that one. He was like, you may get all of the things that you want to talk
He
about.
showed you the Hungry for Justice one?
What?
Hungry for Justice? That's he said he talked
He
about
showed me
that?
you sitting in a diner, so I was assuming that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's really thrilled about that one. He thinks that one's going to do really well. That one's going to take off.
That's
Um,
amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's so beautiful. He actually says that it's like one of the ones where, because it's so authentically you, right? It's like it's all of the things you love in one, right?
Yeah. No, it is. That's so
Right?
true.
It's so perfect. And so he says that like all of the ideas for that are going to happen and all of the things, like everything that you're going to want to talk about and all of the dynamics, he's like, just let it all flood in, right? He was like, write it all down and like keep track of all of it. And
Mhm.
he says that if you feel any resistance to getting started this month, he was like, just leave it, right? You don't have to do it right away. He's like, you are such a go-getter that you would make it happen right now, right? And he says that trust that the right people are going to come into your life through these connections to help it happen in a smoother way. If that makes sense. So if you're sort of like, I gotta call together like a camera crew and like, how am I going to find all of these people and all these things? He was like, again, your energy is just going to radiate and you are someone where it's so infectious, right? And contagious, right? Where contagious is a better word than infectious, but there's like people are going to just like feel it and then kind of be like, oh, I know someone, right? And connect you. Um, and so it's really just right now of like letting the ideas come through, being lit up by them, and then having the spontaneous conversations with the people as you feel called to do so.
Mhm.
So that's really, really important. Do you have any questions about any of this before I move on to
No,
the
I don't. I get it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
beautiful. So the other thing he wants to share with you is that um okay, this is a little bit more regarding the law firm and sort of work related stuff. But he says that with this, did you start another podcast, Andy? He's showing me like a female group of women, like a group of women who did they start a podcast?
Wow, I can't believe that just came through. That's let me just tell you the background. So that's exactly right. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
so I have a group of there's a group of female lawyers at my firm
Hmm.
that formed a group called Themis, which is the female goddess of justice.
Okay.
Okay. They are basically, it's a subgroup of my law firm where they want to basically represent female clients
Hmm.
and advocate for females and related issues. And I had talked to a friend of mine in LA who'd heard about them, and she wanted to, we're basically pitching a podcast about them. I was on the phone with her an hour ago about this.
An hour ago? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Chills. Chills.
I just, I got this notepad here. Her name's Carly Rowland. You see it at the top?
Oh my God.
And we're talking about the Themis podcast right here.
Oh my God.
And the conversation that came up in this, she was calling to check in. She lives in LA.
Mhm.
And she was saying that how, it's been kind of frustrating waiting for her agent, like her agent's kind of shopping it around. And then I said to her, I said, Carly, this is just an hour ago. I mean, she called me like a little before 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
My whole thing to her was I said, I hear what you're saying. As soon as she called, my energy just took over the call. Like I was like so contagious. I said, Carly, my mantra this year is create, create, create. Maybe what we should do is, and I've been preaching this on my podcast, like I'm tired of waiting for other people's permission.
Yeah.
somebody else to say like, oh, it's good enough to make a podcast. It's good enough to do it. We're interested. I said, why don't we just do it? Why
Mhm.
don't we just produce it and put it out there and put it
Yeah.
out there? Happen. So that's what we were going to brainstorm on over the next month is there a way for us just to do, and this is a podcast, we've already mapped it out. It's all the female lawyers and
Hmm.
it'd be a weekly podcast so that they would be talking about some of the cases they're working on. It'd be their podcast. So that's exactly, I can't believe you saw a bunch of females in a podcast setting.
Yeah. And I was like, it's related to your law firm. I was so
Yes.
confused. That is
And it is. It
crazy.
is. It's like subgroup of my law firm, but it's
Wow.
a female practice area, all women,
Mhm.
and it would be a podcast featuring them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so what I was going to say, and that your guide is trying to, that's crazy. I'm like sitting here going, wow. Like,
That's
sometimes I even surprise myself, right?
unbelievable.
It's
Yeah.
but he was trying to advocate for you, that like he was like, yes, do that, but also this actually takes off. This becomes a really big sort of money maker for your law firm in terms of bringing clients and bringing notoriety or notability to your law firm. It really seems to be a crowd pleaser, I guess is the word. And so,
Well, you know what's funny? I'm glad to hear that. I've always felt like it's got so much potential.
mhm,
First of all, these women are so talented. They're so
yeah,
talented. And I just think there's a ton of women out there who would prefer to have a female attorney representing them. And it's a very male dominated
yeah,
business. And I
yeah.
feel like, especially, I mean, some of the initial cases they've taken are already like female driven, like a family whose daughter was sexually assaulted by her ice skating coach. A girl
Oy,
that was like, like drugged and raped at a high school party. But it's not just those. It could be like, let's say you want to form a business, you want to form a company, you want to have somebody guide you on how to move to Costa Rica. You
yeah,
might just want to vibe with a female lawyer. I
right.
think females are better listeners. They're more empathetic. I think they're
Mhm.
better than men in a lot of ways. In
Interesting.
most ways, frankly.
Yeah.
And
You're
so
right.
I
Yeah.
do I do believe I've invested a lot of time and effort into them, and I think it's like a jet waiting to take off down the runway.
Mhm. Well, this is your spirit guide, like affirming that. So if you were questioning, like, is this the right step or not? Your guide is like, hell yes, green light, go. Like, definitely put your eggs in that basket.
Okay.
Um, because it seems to be like a huge one. And your guide was like, absolutely on the podcast for that. It really, really kind of makes the stamp for your law firm. And the other piece to this, which your guide is really saying, is that in the past, this guide of yours has said that perhaps you're going to be pulling back a little bit from the law firm and kind of allowing things to kind of do run on their own. This becomes a key for that for you, because it's going to bring in enough revenue that you can start to take your hands off a little bit.
Mm.
Really kind of start to bring in the profit you need to kind of move back, take a
Give
step back.
me to give me a little more freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's going to give you some more freedom. So, definitely putting some eggs in this basket is going to be a
I
really,
can't believe that you saw though, like you saw an image of like these women with a podcast
yeah, yeah.
because that's what I was talking about an hour ago.
It's so crazy. That's so crazy.
Literally, these women having a podcast.
I love it. I needed that just as much as you needed that, because I definitely, something happened earlier this week that was a huge shot to my confidence. So this was really nice. Um,
Amazing.
that's amazing. Beautiful.
I
Okay,
think because
let me see.
I'm coming in with such strong energy, we're
Mhm.
connecting.
Oh yeah.
We're connecting to my guide in a stronger way today. I
Mhm.
think because we've got this more of like because I've opened the portal a little bit, as they said. I think I think you're getting a better connection. I mean, maybe some of our sessions
Mhm.
there was some static today.
Yeah.
There's not.
There's no static today, that's for sure. You
No.
definitely, I'm just like reading you like a book, which is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really such a testament to you as well. So, that's really beautiful.
Wow. Can you believe that? Can you believe what you just saw or listened to? The way she says she sees a group of women podcasting, but related to my law firm. Because remember, Themis is part of Hale and Monaco, part of my law firm. That she saw that my channel, that my spirit guide was telling her that. was so amazing and powerful for her to be telling me that when she knew nothing about it. That just blows me away. In a way it doesn't, in a way it doesn't, because I'm already on board with what Jessica does. I'm already on board with the concept of a spiritual medium, me having a channel, me having a spirit guide, me talking to my spirit guide, me channeling my spirit guide. But nonetheless, even me feeling that way and being that way, this was still pretty fucking amazing, the way this played out. It still blows me away. And it just motivates me more to keep doing what I'm doing, to follow my passion, to follow my purpose, to follow the things that I want to do, to create the kind of content and tell the stories that I want to tell, and continue to talk to Jessica. So I guess where I'm going with all this is I want to encourage all of you to be more intuitive, to tap into your spirit guide, your spiritual life coach. You're getting messages all the time. You're getting downloads all the time. You're probably just not hearing them because your mind is racing, you're distracted, you're thinking of other things, your vibration is fuzzy. It's like the radio dial, it's staticky. Get your vibration, feel good, feel positive, feel grateful. Day to day is your baseline. Just feel good. You're alive. You woke up today. I mean, what's not more amazing than today? You woke up today and you got a whole blank slate. You can do whatever you want. How amazing is that? Once you get in that kind of mode, that vibe, that zone, now start trying to tap in. Start trying to see if you notice little downloads, little nudges, little intuitions, little things. I encourage you to go back, listen to my prior interviews with Jessica on this Connect podcast, learn more, and start the process. What have you got to lose? All I can tell you is it resonates so powerfully with me. It has helped me in my life so much. I feel like so excited now about all the things I want to do. I've never felt more excited and passionate in my life about all the things I have going on. So I'm just trying to share that energy with you and encourage you to go on the same journey. I'll be talking about this more on this podcast because it's such a powerful topic, but check it out. Share this podcast, talk about it with your friends. Please leave me a review if you can. And I'd like to try to get the word out. And this conversation, there's going to be a lot more to be continued. But thank you for listening.